Thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming to our kickoff for this 2016-2017 Jimwood Speaker Series. I always start the season off with alumni panel. I found it very enjoyable and very informative in the past, and I know it's going to get better tonight, definitely with the panelists that we have. You all have a flyer, so I'm not going to bore you with reading the details, but we're going to go in the row that I'm introducing everybody. And the first one is Shawn Nelson. She is the Senior Branch Manager at Liberty Mutual. Alumni, definitely from Clayton, otherwise she wouldn't be here. But she has a lot to tell us. She also has come to me many times about opportunities, which you've gotten my emails about Liberty Mutual having opportunities. So talk to her about it. It's a great opportunity for you, but I'm pretty sure she'll share that with her section. The next middle part is our winning team. Drew, Marcus, Octavius, who is it? Aurelius. Oh, yeah, okay. AKA Dr. Drew, and we have Kim Reddish. They have their own business. They have a very good story about talking about their entrepreneurship, their vision, and I won't steal their thunder, but they do have a health training, physical training business. And the last person on our panel is Latisha Motley. She's graduated just recent graduate, a couple years, 3 years. Very, very good, successful career, UPS, Coca-Cola, and now Amazon. So you got some good talent here, some people who are going to tell you some really good things to know. Feel free to take notes. Questions and answers will be at the end of the panel session. So just write them down. If you try to remember them, great, but try to write them down because there's going to be a lot coming. So Shawn, it's yours, and you got your audience.
I do. Bill, can you hear me? Okay, then I don't need the microphone. Put your hand down, Bill. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself, and then please save the questions for the end. The more exciting members of the team are over here. So I graduated from Clayton State in 2004. I was the typical non-traditional student. So I actually started at Clayton State my senior year of high school in 1996. Don't start calculating my age. I'm just saying. So I took a few years off because, that's what non-traditional students do. And then I came back to Clayton State after my daughter was 5. And that same daughter, who is now 18 and a sophomore here at Clayton State. So I took some time off, came back and finished my degree. And I've got my business degree in...
Shawn, you got to use the mic. We can't hear you back here.
You poor things. Now this is dangerous, miking me up. How about now? Better?
Yes.
You really wanted to hear me? Yes. So I got my business marketing degree in 2004. And I started looking for jobs because one of the first things I would tell you and recommend to you is business marketing. Does anybody actually know what job you get after you graduate with business marketing? Because I didn't. I went to the Gay's Career Fair after I graduated, and I'm looking around, and there's 100 different companies there, right? And I'm looking around, and I'm like, all right, so business marketing. Sounds good. I narrowed it down to a few different companies that I wanted to work for based on kind of what they had to offer, companies that I had heard of, some of them just because I shopped there. Ann Taylor was at the top of my list. I've got a shopping problem. But I ended up interviewing with Enterprise, Liberty Mutual, Wells Fargo, Ann Taylor. Got job offers from all of them, but ultimately chose Liberty Mutual because of what they had to offer. So ends up marketing translate to sales. Just in case you're wondering, I promise you, I never woke up and said, woohoo, insurance sales. That's what I want to do for a living. But it actually has ended up being a really good career. I've been with Liberty Mutual since 2005. One of the things that they offered, and one of the reasons I took the job was because they offered a ton of flexibility. It was like running my own business without having all the overhead. So I don't have to worry about paying all the overhead costs. I just got to work there, and I had a really good manager who left me alone. And then ultimately I became the manager, and I don't leave them alone. I should probably take my own advice. But I started off as a sales rep, and the way Liberty Mutual works is they've got a ton of different recognition programs, a lot of push for making money. Everybody in sales, it's either money or recognition that motivates you. For me, it was more recognition. So every time they said, you can win a trip to Hawaii, I was like, ooh, pick me. I'll work harder that year. So every year since I've been there that we were able to win Hawaii, I won Hawaii. They should probably offer it every year. I might work harder. Just saying. I went in May of this year. It was a great trip. But I've been at Liberty Mutual now for 12 years. So I started off in sales, had a pretty successful career. They promoted me into sales management. And as most corporate companies do, we reorganized. So when I got reorganized, we went from 20 managers to 13. I was the last one hired, so I was first one out. So I went back into sales again. And of course then I had to prove myself, right? So of course I had to win everything again, and that was the year they were offering Hawaii again, so I went back out and did Hawaii again. I may be a big fan of Hawaii. So then the opportunity became available again, and now I'm senior branch manager. So I went back into the management line, and some people would think I was crazy, or it may just be that the grass is always greener on the other side. So I keep flip-flopping back between sales and management, but I love the role I'm in now. I have a great team. I actually work in the Peachtree City office. So one of the other factors for me was I live still on the south side. Obviously went to Clayton State. I absolutely detest traffic. So I really wanted a job that was on the south side. So when Liberty said we're in Peachtree City, I was like, ooh, that's looking good. There's not too many jobs in Peachtree City. You can make 6 figures. Liberty Mutual has one. So it's a nice place to be. So that's a little bit about my career path. You guys can ask me whatever questions at the end that you want to about that. That answered most of that. What did I leave out?
I think you nailed it, Shawn.
I think you got it.
All right, good. Then I get to hand this mic off to
You talked
Dr.
about
Drew.
the preparedness.
I did not.
Sean, talk about the preparedness that see what happens when you join management. Get out of those weeds and you're lost.
How prepared was I for the job after I graduation? I will tell you, Clayton State really does prepare you for the real world. I think that what I took away from it, I did several internships in my senior year. And more than anything, that really helped me because it helped me to see that glimpse of what corporate America looked like. It also helped me realize really quickly I did not want to work at a trucking company in transportation and logistics. It's really just not me.
Pass that mic over.
Right, okay. There you go. Sorry. No, I'm just saying, it really wasn't for me, but I think that's what internships can help you to do. And Clayton State has an incredible network where they can help place you into different internships. Take advantage of that. It is one of the best opportunities you have to really get a good feel for what makes sense for you. It actually, even though I didn't want to do transportation and logistics, mostly because it was a trucking company and I'm a girl, I ended up figuring out very quickly I had no problem picking up the phone and making cold calls. So the guy that I was working with was like, why are you not in sales? So it was an easier fix when I started looking for jobs. I wasn't as scared of sales at that point because I was able to think back and say, okay, you know what? I don't mind picking up the phone and calling people. I have zero problem with that. So take advantage of internships. Take advantage of career services. They can help you with your resume. Because I got to tell you, the worst thing in the world as a hiring manager is to see a jacked up resume. If you can't spell, please go see career services. I'm just telling you. It's the first thing we look at, and we will absolutely pass on candidates for lack of spelling. And it's easy to make mistakes, but we'll pass on candidates just because of it. Because if you don't have a sense of detail from that very beginning, that's the thing that represents you, is your resume. So career services also has help with interviewing. Take advantage of that. The first thing you're going to do when you graduate is go look for a job. Most Fortune 100 companies have behavioral interviewing questions. You're going to want to know how to answer them. They're simple once you get the hang of it, but you're going to want to go in feeling very comfortable and confident when you do that. Clayton State's got all of the avenues that you need in order to get prepared for that. So, that answer it?
Outside of the trucking part, you did great.
Sorry, but that was just me. Maybe it's also been 12 years since then, so maybe things have
If it wasn't
changed.
for us, you wouldn't have an automobile.
That's true. I wasn't saying anything negative, it just wasn't for me. All right, save me.
Let's see, where am I
Now
going?
remember, the two of you are getting a one-time.
We got it, Professor. We got it.
One time only.
Might have to
One
smack
shot.
him around a little.
Smack
I mean,
around,
you
pick
just
'em up.
just yank the mic. I mean,
Yeah, I will.
All right. All right, y'all. So my name is Drew Reddish. Marcus Aurelius, pick one. I go by Drew. I graduated from Clayton State about 2 years ago, and I did something a little bit crazier than most with my wife. I opened up my business a year before I graduated, and I had no clue what I was doing. Like most people that start a business, I had passion, but I did not have a plan or process. And that's where Clayton State came in. And really, the classes that I took at the time, it couldn't come at a better time because in business, you have to be willing to learn. You have to always be a student in business. It never comes a point where you reach a point and say, I made it. That's not a real business. That's on TV. So after I graduated Clayton State 2 years ago, I thought that I had figured it out. You know, I had this education now. I had done all these presentations with all my wonderful people that were in my groups of presenting that always did their part of the work. That's sarcasm, by the way. But when I left Clayton State, I didn't do what everybody else did. I didn't enter the job market. I felt I had it figured out. And that was one of the worst mistakes I ever made. 3.5 years in business, figuring things out the hard way is not what you want to do. There are a lot of people around here, and this is hurting me to say this, Professor M is one of them, that can give you a lot of good advice.
we're past extra credit stage.
We're going to crush it.
Right.
But it's a lot of people around here that can give you a lot of better advice than what I took. I'm kind of a stubborn person, so I had to figure it out on my own. And that's not the way you want to go. Recently, my current position, I'm at Amazon. I had to get a job because most people believe that when you start a business, you've figured it all out. That's not true. When you start a business, you're figuring out how to get in the worst mess you've ever gotten in your life. All right, so I had to get a job to try to shore the ship up. But actually, this job at Amazon has been the biggest blessing in my life. Because I don't know how many of you have ever shopped at Amazon. Probably nobody in here. Okay. But Amazon focuses on the customer like no other company I've ever seen. And taking that principle and applying it in business, as well as remembering a lot of the lessons that I learned here, is the reason that we're still in business. That's the God's honest truth. So what could I have done differently? I could have listened to a lot of the professors that gave me this advice before I left Clayton State. How did you get started and where are we at today? As I said, I'm working at Amazon and I'm a TL, which is a management position there. And Amazon requires a lot of leadership. A lot of us, including myself, I used to always make excuses for everything that didn't go my way. Amazon and any other corporate culture is not going to look for people that make excuses. They want people that find solutions. So a lot of us get in the habit of saying, well, this isn't right and this doesn't work. Go to them with a problem solved and you'll get a lot further. That's one of the things that helped me to get where I'm at today is learning to take ownership of what I did, because who can you blame for anything that happens to you? Nobody. So ownership and some of the soft skills that I see that companies are looking for is this right here. You wouldn't believe how many people have a problem talking to other people. We text all the time. We talk to our homeboys. When we get in there with someone that's a coworker, we freeze up or we start acting unnatural. That's not the environment anymore. People want to see soft skill sets that make you a natural person. They want to see that you're approachable. And those are important job skills to have in today's environment. And last but not least, some of the lessons that I've learned that I could share with the audience, I've shared a couple of them, but the biggest one is enthusiasm. A lot of people feel like you can be yourself, this version of yourself that's not going to fit in a position. If you want to be a manager, you need to start practicing the things that make you a manager. And that's not being bossy, that's learning how to take responsibility, ownership, and enlighten and pick up other people. That's the best quality a manager or a leader has, is making someone else a leader. So with that, I'm going to turn it over.
Pass it over to the,
That's what I just
pass it
said.
over to your CEO.
Yes, this is my boss. This is the boss. I'm dead serious.
No
She's the boss.
fighting. We fight after. We don't fight during.
We'll fight in private. We got it.
Not in front of company.
That's right.
Yeah. Hey guys, my name is Kim Reddish. You can just call me Kim. I am the co-owner of ZooFit Fitness Studio in Fayetteville, Georgia. And I am the wife of this crazy guy here on my right. We started our journey at Clayton State back in the summer of 2011. Just like Lisa, I'm sorry, Shawn. I am. I'm sorry.
I mean, that's a girl name.
That's a girl name, right? I didn't call you a boy. I didn't say Mr. Nelson. Yeah. Just like Shawn over here, I'm also a non-traditional student. I started my whole journey of college back in 1999, and then life happened. I kind of let my life take control of me, and I kind of put school on the back burner. But I came back, I chose Clayton State, and I drugged this guy with me. And I said, hey, I'm going back to school, and you can either come or you can either stay. It's totally up to you.
CEO.
And he said he was coming along for the ride. And I remember that summer when it began, it was so crazy. We started economics. And right here, and I remember I was in Dr. Finley's class. And Dr. Finley, I got an A in economics because you broke down economics on such a basic level for me that I was able to really understand things.
And you put this in your evaluation, right?
It's being recorded. But my point is,
Your parking lot ad.
Parking spaces.
I love these
yeah,
things.
professors like Dr. Finley, she definitely helped me to get a grasp and a footing and break things down on a basic level so that it would go with me into the workplace and into owning my own business. So I guess when classes are coming at you like strategic management and finance and economics and all of these classes that are really brain busters, once you just break it down on the basic level, it becomes a lot easier. And it also translates into the business world as well. The major that I selected was marketing, as well as I had a minor in supply chain management. This was because of yours truly over here. He came around to classes petitioning for people to have a supply chain. No, actually move your major to supply chain. And I said, you know what? I'm actually going to do a minor in supply chain. And that definitely helped me to understand the world of logistics, and also landed me a management position at Amazon. So in addition to having my own business, I also am a team lead at Amazon. And I definitely think that Clayton State helped me prepare me for this type of position because just of the types of project work that we did. And I was also, I would say, very bossy, and I was kind of took over my groups. I was trying to pose myself as the leader in the group. It wasn't because I was bossy, guys. It was just because I wanted to get an A, okay?
That's who she is.
I was
Who
passionate.
she is. Who she
I
is.
feel like you just said she was bossy.
I didn't say anything, Shawn.
Don't listen to him.
Okay.
But I definitely think that Clayton State helped me to prepare for these types of positions. It definitely helped me to prepare for my management position, because I see a lot of the role that I took on in my group is the same type of role that I take on in my day-to-day activities. So I definitely feel very prepared. And if you guys also insert yourselves and make yourselves a leader of your groups and make yourself somebody, a leader of your peers, that will translate over once you get into the workplace. So I definitely thank you guys for that. Networking is something that is extremely important. So get to know one another. When you're in these groups, remember who you are. You never know who you can call on, for a favor or for a job or for something you may need. I do it all the time in my current business. I might know somebody that I sat in class with who has a carpet cleaning business, or somebody who's good at social media. And I'll still call them up this day and say, hey, I need you to work on something with me. So, make sure that you always keep in touch with who you're sitting next to. It's really important. And I'm not going to keep hogging up all the time. I'm going to go ahead and...
So you guys will hear a common theme. Amazon, I also work for Amazon currently.
I shop there a lot. Does that count?
Oh yeah. It definitely counts.
Like daily?
Yeah,
We
I
love
brought
you.
my
We love
prop,
you.
so yeah. So my name is Latisha Motley. Currently, as I stated, I work for Amazon. I am a program manager for the line haul group, basically carrier management, but program manager in the transportation space within Amazon. So my career path to getting my degree took a bit of a windy road. So I started college right out of high school in 1993.
That makes you
25, just to
Right.
stick
Yeah,
to it.
25 years old. So started started college right out of high school in 1993, and life kind of happened as it happened for my panel partners up here, and so my mom passed away, and my husband and I got custody of my brother and sister. So life was kind of put on hold. School was put on hold. A lot of things was put on hold. So after my brother and sister got situated, I started college again, I think in 2002. I believe it was around 2002. Started off taking 1 or 2 classes, and again had to put school on hold because life happened again. So finally in 2013, I got my degree. So very proud of that. As far as my career path, I started with UPS in 2001 as a transportation service representative. So an hourly employee, basically at the bottom of the food chain. But worked my way up pretty quickly. Within a year, I made supervisor. In 2 years, I made lower level management. In about 6 years, I made mid-level management. And then in 2011, I was recruited over to Coca-Cola. So I took a job in transportation at Coca-Cola in the supply chain field. 2 years into that job, I got promoted to project manager of transportation at Coca-Cola. And life threw me a curveball a few months ago, and I was impacted. So basically got laid off from Coca-Cola. But fortunately, I got a job at Amazon 3 days later. So my last day was May 31st. I interviewed with Amazon on April 3rd or 4th, I believe, and I was hired 2 hours later. So, I say all that to say that even though life may throw you, curveballs or you may face challenges, don't let that become who you are. I've overcome a lot of challenges, and I know you guys can as well. So that's a little bit about my career path. Unlike Shawn here, I love supply chain, I love transportation, and I love logistics.
It was just the wrong company.
So even before I had the opportunity to work for UPS back in 2001, I actually worked for a third-party transportation company prior to that. And I failed to mention that, and I think this is something that Shawn mentioned about interning. I had an internship at the Georgia Department of Transportation because right out of college, my major was civil engineering. And I got tired of the traffic studies, and it just wasn't for me. And I kind of fell into logistics. I fell into transportation. After I left my internship, I took a part-time job with the third-party company that I mentioned. And like I said, I just kind of fell into transportation and logistics, and I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. So let's see. Networking. So I highly recommend networking. I network every opportunity that I get, whether that be in a formal setting or just meeting people, talking to people, at the mall or whatever it is, you never know who you may run into. You never know who you may meet. So it doesn't have to be, don't look at networking as being in a formal setting necessarily. You can network anywhere and with anyone. So that's just a tip there. As far as soft skills, one of the things that I would recommend, one of the things that's gotten me to where I am in my career is effective communication. So knowing how to communicate with others, knowing how to be clear and concise in your communication, knowing how to get your point across without being too aggressive is definitely something that you guys want to work on. And then analytical skills. Knowing how to be forward thinking, thinking outside the box. That's something that's really helped me in my career as well. And then lessons learned. My lessons learned for you guys is to always have a lessons learned. So even if things go right, even if you find success in whatever you do, even if you find failure in whatever you do, there's always a lesson learned in anything that you do. So I have a book of lessons learned over the years that I keep. So whether it's something that I've done, a project that I've managed that's been a success, why was it a success? So what's the lessons learned around that? If it failed, why did it fail? What can I do better the next time? How can I take this failure and move forward? So that's just something that I do. I keep a book so that I can go back. And it's good for me to keep, I like to journal. So it's something that I can always go back and look on throughout my career, just to see how far I've come. And also, when you have those lessons learned, when you're having communication or having your reviews with your manager, it's good to have that as a point of reference for yourself and for your manager, so that you don't have to think about, okay, what did I do? Was this project a success? Was it not? You'll have that readily available so that you can refer to that when you're having conversations with your manager, and really for yourself as well. I think, did I hit on everything?
I hit things for me.
Okay.
All right, let's do some more drawings and we'll get into Q&A. One thing I want to say about networking. Don't look at networking as a chore. Look at networking as free education. Because you're picking other people's brains. Have a set of questions, curiosity questions, and talk to people to get their opinions. You'd be surprised how much you learn about things that you don't even get exposure to. Or you don't even you're not managing a function, but somebody is, and they're giving you all this free advice and free information, and you bank it. And then you recall back on it again. So when you meet somebody else who says similar things, now you can come in with your opinion based on what you heard, and it sparks a lot of good conversation. And that's how you start building your network, because then you're making an impression on them, just like they're making an impression on you. And change your name to something unique. I mean, there's only one of me, and it's worked in my favor. I mean, everybody knows who I am. So don't take my name, because my sons are already in the business. And my name is Mascara Tolo, mascara for the eyes, Tolo at the end. And I'm going to tell you a funny story. I worked for a Japanese company. They couldn't say L's. And if any Japanese people here, I'm not making this as a derogatory, it was Mascara Toro. They couldn't say the L, so it was always Mascara Tolo. But that was my first time getting into business. I was going to change my name because people were having trouble with it. So I sat down with my parents and said, would you mind if I change the name, because people are just having trouble with it, So they were all fine. They supported with me. So I'm thinking, how you put a piece of paper together. And well, this name sucks. This doesn't work, And I couldn't come up with an answer. And I went back to work and I'm saying, nobody can say my name. That's the plus. They couldn't say my name. And they would try and try and try. And then when I told them how to do it, it was like, wow, what an accomplishment. I can say his name. So once I won that over, the Japanese managers would talk in kanji, and then all of a sudden, Mascara Toro. And I was saying, oh man, they're talking about me, now they know my name. We're better off with just John's son, you know. So, but it worked in my favor, and everywhere I go now, it's, you know, I had a hard time mentioning your name, now I got it, I'll never forget it. Way to go, you know? Thanks, Dad. Let's go into Q&A. Now, the hardest question to ask is the first one. So we're gonna skip that one and go to number 2.
Oh my goodness. How the heck do you guys walk in those shoes?
Very carefully. Daily and carefully.
Practice.
Now, I'm glad you asked that question and not a guy.
Right there.
Oh, he did. All right, we're definitely giving away her parking spot. All right, who else got a question? Go ahead.
How would you start off your networking question?
I'm sorry.
How would you start a networking question?
How would I start networking questions?
Yeah, like, my thing is I have a really hard time, like, trying to talk to people, but once there's, like, an icebreaker, like, I'll talk all day long.
Oh, okay.
So it depends on what you want to gain sometimes.
Yeah.
So first it just starts off with, you should all have a 30-second pitch.
Elevator speech.
I mean, just quick, easy, summarizes who you are, what you do, right? So I have no problem walking up and telling anybody, Shawn Nelson, Liberty Mutual, I sell car, home, and life insurance. What do you do?
There's the ice broken right there.
My answer is I got.
What did I ask
It's
you?
broken. What do you?
I did the exact same thing to him.
She did.
I'm like,
She
Shawn
did.
Nelson, who are you? What do you do? It's simple. You got to do whatever works for your personality, but it's what you want to know, right? You got to figure out what it is that they do, and then figure out out of that conversation, what do you want to gain from that? If it's just a contact, tell them, I'm going to reach out to you via LinkedIn within the next 2 days, and I'd love to connect with you in the future. If it's an internship, do you know anyone that has an internship available in X? Figure out what it is you want from that person, build some rapport, and then ask for it. Go for it. That's what networking is all about.
Yeah.
Ask for what you want.
That's it. No fluff.
Another one to ask is, do
I
you
might
come
be
here
blunt.
often?
That's only
Sorry,
if
I
you're
was thinking
dating.
that.
Don't ask
came
that.
Let me rephrase that, okay?
So I will give you some help too. Liberty Mutual, I am sponsoring a networking event. It is next Tuesday at the Taco Mac in Peachtree City. It's from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. If you want some practice networking, it is a professional business networking event. Come out. I'll come up and we'll talk first thing. You can break the ice with me, but it gives you every single networking opportunity you have an opportunity to go to, take it. The more comfortable you get, the bigger your network is, the easier you're going to have a time after graduation.
Practice.
So, Tuesday, 5:30 to 7:30, Taco Mac in Peachtree City.
Now, let me rephrase my statement, okay?
If you're under 21,
If you're in a
don't come.
business atmosphere, a business meeting,
She'll be at the bar.
especially if you're in a business meeting, going up and saying, is this your first time here? It's mine. That's an icebreaker, okay? So if you go to a networking group like that, everybody's gonna be in the same boat. It's called learning to work the room. The more comfortable and confident you have in yourself, you have to have a script. You have to have that recall to get that icebreaker. And it's learning. It's
It just
talking,
can't
like
be,
I said.
"Do you come here?"
Talk to somebody. How do you do it? How do you do it? How do you do it? That's all it is. It's just exposure and practice.
But it
And practice
doesn't
on
have to
other
be an
people,
event
too.
though.
What?
No.
So it doesn't
No.
have to be an event.
No.
It doesn't have to be an event. You can network at any place at any time.
Sure. Network with the waitress at the table.
Exactly.
Just don't say,
You don't know
Just-
who they are. You'd be surprised. Some of those people are
Absolutely.
non-traditional students. They may be going to your school. I mean, they're people just like you are. The issue is don't be afraid to talk. Practice on somebody you know. Go to a friend. Say, I want to try something out, and do it. Those are the hardest people because they know you and you know them. But practice.
There's a
Learn the
competition
script.
here on campus for the 30-second elevator
Right.
pitch.
Right.
If you have an opportunity to do it, do it. Because it's going to get you more comfortable with it. But even
Don't
if
be
you don't
afraid.
do that, to his point, practice. Get
Good.
very comfortable with who you are and what you're looking for. and be able to say it in 30 seconds or less.
Be proud of what you've done. That gives you the confidence. And don't put people on a pedestal. They're just as equal as you are. Another question.
You had one over here.
Is there only one Taco Mac?
Yes. If you guys connect with me on LinkedIn, I'll send you the info.
That's all Peachtree City let them have.
Right. So we have golf carts everywhere. So that's the other thing. So LinkedIn, perfect opportunity to connect with people. If you don't currently have a LinkedIn page, create one. We use it, so as hiring managers, it's one of the first places we look for candidates. I will tell you, I specifically look for Clayton State students on LinkedIn when I'm hiring. I seek you guys out because I'm from here. I happen to be the president of the Alumni Association. I kind of want to hire you guys. So I'm looking for you on LinkedIn. If you don't have a page, get one. Put on there what type of job you're seeking. It helps people that are looking to hire to connect with you. Then when you're out networking, whether it be a one-off when you're talking to somebody or whether it be at an event, make connections with that person within a day or two. And don't just hit connect where it says, I'd like to add you to my professional network.
The default.
Please put something in there that says, hey Shawn, met you at Clayton State, so nice to meet you, would love to talk to you again, can we connect? A simple, brief message, I'll accept it every time. Make sure your picture's on there. I don't accept them without pictures.
A professional picture.
Please make it professional. Do not do the selfie where you're like,
Yeah.
I just don't want to. But most people won't accept them without pictures. It means that you don't have a full profile on there. So just do the simple things, but it's very easy to do. It's a very easy way to network.
Agreed.
So yes, only one
Good
Taco
question.
Mac.
What do you guys think about Facebook? All right, next question. I think you got that answer, right?
Facebook is actually a
Talk
really
about
great
Facebook.
tool if you have your own business.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a great way to market, to people by sharing your videos and your pictures and interesting things about your business. So
If it's
Facebook
business
is,
focused.
yeah.
It works
What
for
I think about
business.
Facebook, please make your page private. All your partying pictures do not need to be seen by hiring managers. Whatever profile picture you have that can be seen regardless of whether or not it's private, please don't make that the partying picture. We do look you up on Facebook. We do Google you. We look to find out what we're getting into before you ever walk in the door for an interview. So whatever you have out there, we'll find it. So make sure it just at least do the basics, but make your page private. If you want one for hiring purposes, do a separate page. You'd be amazed at the things we find out
None
on
of those New
Facebook.
Orleans shows.
Too much.
Things we don't want to know about
Things
you.
that can never be unseen.
Thank you. Ever. I just don't want to.
Land that resume right at the bottom of the stack.
Yeah.
Or in the trash.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no secrets on the internet.
If you go creeping, you'll find something.
Hiring managers we're looking. I mean, we want to know.
Absolutely.
I had a question for you guys. I know you guys talked about working at Amazon, but can you talk more about your own business that you guys created while you were still in school?
It was the. Go ahead.
Use the mic.
Absolutely. Well, our business, we own a fitness studio in Fayetteville. It's a 20-minute, we own a fitness studio in Fayetteville. It's our own concept based on a 20-minute high-intensity interval training program. And so what we did there was we just kind of opened it up. So we started as just a personal training gym where we were just going to train people one-on-one. But we kind of realized that we could reach more people if we opened up the classes and we taught more people. So we started a group training concept where we would take 8 students at a time. And then from that 8 student model, then we moved to like a 25 student model at a time. So we kind of now, so from offering one product, we now offer 3 different types of products. Right. So we'll have the one-on-one training, the small group training, as well as class training. And it's really cool. I mean, it's really intense type of fitness program. And it's helped me to lose 80 pounds myself, and I help to motivate and inspire other people to live healthier and more meaningful lifestyles.
80 pounds.
80.
80.
Oh, 8.
80.
Yeah, that's what I thought. 80 is what I heard. Damn.
It's a whole human.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
After the day.
What about marketing? How do you go about marketing your business?
Well, we market in a lot of different ways, but I will let Drew tell you because he's definitely more into that than I am.
Yeah.
You just wanted the mic.
Yeah,
You
I
just
did.
wanted
I
the
couldn't-
mic.
You just wanted the
He's
mic.
talking too much.
Right. Do you guys fight at work a lot?
No
Yes.
way, never.
She's like, yes. Oh my God, I want to choke him.
That's how you learn. That's how you grow. No, but seriously, with our marketing, we do a lot of different marketing. We see that the best return for our buck is obviously referral marketing. This is really close. Facebook marketing, and the reason we don't have a problem with Facebook is because Facebook marketing is a gold mine. It's something that we kind of stumbled on a couple of years ago when we were trying to grow our business. And we realized that showing people, a lot of people tell you what to do, but when you show someone what to do, they want to be a part of it. And so that helps out a lot with our online marketing. We're just now getting into Instagram. I know we're slow, but Instagram is very powerful for marketing too. And other traditional means of marketing. So postcards, Instagram, social media marketing, referrals, and co-op marketing with businesses in the local area. We had a really big partnership that worked out well with Olive Garden and Big Frog Teas for a little while, where they would give away free t-shirts to anyone that signed up, and Olive Garden would sponsor all of our events with their Healthy Fare menus. So with the marketing, you got to really pay attention to your customer. And that's the one thing that's hard when you start off in a business is you think you have the perfect solution. And the customer comes back and says, I hate it. And you either shut up, close shop, or you figure out how to accommodate the customer. And that's the biggest thing in business is trying to learn what the customer wants, how to keep the customer happy. And I sound like Amazon because this is where I learn all this stuff, but it really works. It really works. So that's our marketing right now.
All right, any more questions?
I don't love the fact that they're not doing free returns as much anymore.
No, they don't do it.
No. Yes, young lady in the second row.
I have a question for your business. Are you guys the only ones that teaches classes, or have you started managing how other people do it? And if you did, are they now a business partner, or how do you distinguish the roles?
Well, actually, we are not the only ones that do the training. Starting out, when we opened the doors in 2013, we were the only two that were training, but then we brought on another young lady, and then since then we've had about 4 employees, and we've also taken on 2 interns as well. Yes?
Do y'all do a spin class?
No, we don't do any heavy duty equipment. When you walk through the doors of ZooFit, you'll notice that there is no equipment. There are no machines because you're the machine.
Yeah.
You're gonna do the work and you're gonna work hard and you're gonna, reach your goals. And that's what we do. Yes?
I have more of a comment.
Sure.
I go to Living Faith Tabernacle, and
Hey. Have you taken one of my classes?
yes, ma'am.
Were you there Friday?
No, I was not. I was Woods Road.
Okay.
But it's definitely the just the mountain itself and the time switch.
brutal.
So the class is amazing. It definitely.
Yeah.
Now, you just networked.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Exactly.
You
Give
just
a
networked.
recommendation and everything.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Go on up there.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure y'all deal with multiple personalities. What would be some good advice?
In one person, yes.
Just read the moods. and you'll be
Sorry.
all right.
We just had to figure out who we were dealing with that day. Sorry, go ahead.
What would be some good advice when it comes to dealing with people and their negativity? Because like I said, hold on, let me throw this in here. Okay, so I used to be a representative, so I would get calls from patients and I would get cursed out. And I'm young and I'm still learning and growing and maturing myself. I'm learning how to cope with it, but I feel like there's still more to it that I need to learn so I can know exactly what to say, when to say it, how to say it.
Well, you're going to come across a lot of different personalities. Whether you're in customer service or whatever type of position you're with, you're going to have to work with others, and there's shenanigans, right? So you're going to have to stay true to yourself and realize that this is your job to deal with these types of people. You're going to have to stay grounded, and you're going to have to make sure that you don't let those types of people rub off on you. You know, you have to make sure that you are always maintaining your professionalism, and that's something that's really important, because people can take you out of it really quickly, right? And you have to always remember that you're here, why you're here, and the ultimate goal of what you're doing.
I thought that what you said earlier, don't let it define who you are, right? So maintain your professionalism. It's work, right? So bottom line, be a professional.
Yeah.
No matter what they say, no matter what they do, you handle it professionally. It's not personal. It's a business. Take it as business. And I tell I talk to my reps constantly about the exact same thing. I deal with multiple personalities, and when I do whatever it is, I mean, bottom line, when you go home, you get to go home, right? You don't take it with you. Don't let it define who you are. Deal with it in a professional manner.
You're only responsible for your actions.
Mm-hmm.
You can't control anyone else's. So as long as you keep your actions in check, and as Kim stated, stay professional.
Yep.
It's a job.
If you're calm, they will get calm.
Right.
Don't
Even if
fall
they are
into 'em.
cursing you out.
Hey, there's one more trick you can do, and that's hang up. That works too.
I will be.
Right in the middle of a ramp, just say,
I will be completely honest with you. I have given my reps permission. If somebody is absolutely just cursing them out, no one deserves that treatment.
Right.
You end the call. They can call back.
That's right.
But no one deserves that treatment.
And I always end it in a professional manner.
Correct.
Ma'am, okay, so I'll give you time to calm down, and you can feel free to call back.
Correct.
Goodbye.
And
I just keep it
while
professional,
they're
seriously.
talking.
while they're talking.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
And if you're dealing with a coworker, if it's not outside of your company, if it's internal, another thing to do is exactly what they said. It doesn't change. You have to keep your positive attitude, because you can't control them. If you brought them a cake, it wouldn't make them mad. I mean, it wouldn't make them happy. You got to take care of yourself, because you're the only person that you can control. So don't let them see you sweat.
Yeah, don't take the brunt of it. We have a question up here.
Yes, so I read that y'all opened the business before y'all graduated. I'm a future entrepreneur, so I wanted to know, like, how did y'all manage, like, you know, the things that it takes to run a business, as well as, like, being a student?
Well, he slept in class, so.
We didn't. No, seriously. The first year and a half was brutal. I mean, I learned how to network. So we got a business partner that helped us open the business, put all the money up, and then they disappeared. And that's when we had to learn, okay, are we going to make it or are we going to quit? And that's when it got real. You know, it was romantic at first because we had a business partner that could do things, but you don't really know what you're capable of until you're in the middle of a problem. That's when you grow, is when you're in the middle of a struggle. A lot of people think that you grow outside of it, you grow right in the middle of it. So in business, what we knew was nothing but that we wanted a business. And a lot of people, more people should be willing to take that action and go along with the bumps that they're going to take, because they're going to come, but just don't quit. There you go.
Listen, they're gonna. Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was just gonna add to also take advantage of the professors that you have around you. That that they are really the ones that are teaching you what to do and how to do it. Listen, and like in classes like strategic management, classes like even warehousing, depending on what you are really into, reach out to your professor. Just throw a situation at them. Say, I'm dealing with XYZ. What do you recommend? How do I fix this situation? I mean, they're here to teach you, right?
Yes. Professor, teach you to handle that phone.
Maybe.
Seriously, I worked for a third-party logistics company in my career. One of the hardest jobs because I was in the middle of all negativity. We, in the eyes of the customer, couldn't do anything right. And the people working for me, they were in the same boat. They pick up the phone and it was a negative phone call. And it's very hard to maintain a full day with that negativity.
Yeah.
You do learn the skills to calm them down. Sometimes just putting them on hold, let them rant. Put them on hold. Say, you know, we've been having trouble with our phones a lot lately. You know, whatever you do, don't come back with the same level of language because we're going to lose. The employees always lose because that person's going to call higher up who's going to listen to that person, and they're not going to be ranting. They're going to be calm, and they're going to blame you for making a bad day for them. And by the time you get it, it's a lost deal. You just got to let them take their course, let it go. Don't even answer them. Just listen.
Talk.
You know, put the phone down. You're just still a hero. And then pick it up when it gets quiet and go, are you still there? And they'll get it out of their system.
I do that to my mom.
They must be relaxed.
Trust me, it works. Okay? Hey, listen, we're gonna end, but they're still here if you got questions. I want to give them some tokens of my appreciation. And of course, this is for you as well.